Hi, welcome to Divine Energy and Motion. My name is Christina, and today I'd like to talk about my intuition and reconnecting with my intuition. So, my intuition, I feel like the intuition is just, in terms of describing it, seems so intangible, right? Like, what is it? And I feel as though my intuition kind of guides and directs me into doing or participating or going in a particular direction, whether or not it's somebody that I talk to, or whether or not it's choosing a particular project I want to participate in, or I don't know, even going down the street versus that street. And so I want to say right now, I'm in this state where I'm reconnecting with my intuition. Um, I've spoken in the past about my need in the past to always control things, to always have a plan, A, B, C, and D, making sure that I can keep myself safe. But in that process, um, I overrode my intuition, my gut feelings, what my body was trying to tell me, um, because logically I thought that the direction in which I was heading was the best direction for me, as opposed to really listening to myself and listening to my body and seeing what felt right versus what seemed right. So I spent a long time essentially not really understanding my body. Um, and I feel as though, in order to really connect to my intuition, I really have to understand how my body feels in a state of neutrality or homeostasis. For instance, for me at this time, my intuition, when it's trying to get my attention, could be all of a sudden I feel like I'm having anxiety, or I have a pit in my stomach, or um, let's say just energetically I feel off and something just doesn't seem right. Well, I was conducting my life in a way where that was always happening. And I just assumed that it was, I wasn't feeling good, or, it was, my body was feeling in such a way. Maybe I didn't get enough sleep. And I had all of these reasons to say, hey, this is normal, quote unquote. And it's something that I don't need to pay attention to. It wasn't until I got to a point where, um, I'm sleeping more. I mean, I could stand to sleep more, but sleeping more, being fully rested, taking care of my body, making sure that I'm eating right, making sure that as I had mentioned before, energetically keeping to myself regularly so that I could sit in my own energy and understand what my authentic energy feels like. And it's getting that barometer kind of neutral, so that when it does move, I can say, oh, something is off. Something doesn't seem right. What is that? So, really, my focus has been getting myself to a point of neutrality, getting myself to a point of homeostasis so that I can then say, okay, why do I feel off? Um, Another aspect of intuition that I feel is super important is me being fully present. Because when I'm present, I can see or feel these sensations that are trying to tell me, hey, something's off. I don't think that you should go in this direction versus this direction. And so when I slow down and I'm in a state where I'm really listening to myself. I'm really listening to my body. I'm really listening to my surroundings. I feel as though um, I can hear myself, so to speak, better, and what my body is trying to communicate with me. So, within my journey, or within my spiritual journey, as I've been healing components of myself, um, I feel as though I've slowly elevated this frequency within myself, this like energetic frequency where I'm like more joyful, I'm more in a state of calm. And as my frequency like was increasing and raising, I would see things kind of open up for me. And the things that I needed most kind of manifested, and I was able to attract them. And I was in this state where I pretty much was like, okay, anything that is in front of me is for me, whether or not it's good or bad. I'm looking at it in a positive light. Therefore, it's going to be good either way. Good in the sense that if it's something that I don't prefer, at least that I can learn from that experience and say, okay, well, at least I know this is something that I don't prefer. So I'm going to, not look for something like that versus something that I do prefer, right? So everything to me had a positive spin to it, right? The issue that I was finding was that I didn't have a level of discernment. I wasn't saying, okay, just because I attracted this doesn't necessarily mean it's for me. And I really feel that my intuition is a key component to that, because for me, how could I be able to determine what is for me and what's not for me in terms of discernment if I'm not really listening to myself, if I'm not really listening to my body, my gut feeling, like what's trying to point me in this direction that's really for my highest good, or that's really for the best choice for me. And I'll admit, I've put myself in situations, even recently, where my body was literally telling me, and my mind is literally telling me, what are we doing here? Well, why are we doing this? And then, it would pass, and I'd say, wow, like that really was not meant for me to experience. I mean, still, I'm glad that I had the opportunity to see that this was something that was not for me, and that my intuition was telling me, hey, let's not do this. But at this point, because I'm reconnecting with my intuition and reconnecting with that gut feeling, I've had to, and probably will continue to go through instances where I have to be able to feel those sensations so that I can say, oh, okay, that is what I am supposed to be listening for when something really isn't for me to participate in, or when somebody isn't for me to talk to, or somebody isn't for me to befriend. So I know that I have a lot of growth in this area, and I'm definitely um, in the middle of this reconnection and reintroduction to myself, to who I am and what is for me. And so at this point, I'm finding that yeah, it's just a matter of me slowing down and really being present for me to feel those or see those red flags that are trying to point me in the direction in which I should be going in. That's not to say, in my opinion, that all discomfort is bad per se. There's definitely instances where I feel as though fear um, is masked as discomfort for me. So there are instances where feel very uncomfortable, but I know that it's like a wall that I'm being pushed against, and that if I can break through that wall, on the other side is all of this growth for me, an opportunity for change, an opportunity for me to be a better version of myself, right? And in those instances, absolutely, I think that pushing through that discomfort for me um, uh, reveals or unveils another version of me that is even better than the one before. Um, but as it relates to intuition, for me, it's like really understanding what is my body trying to tell me in certain situations, or even, keeping myself safe, because those indicators for me are there. I just have to be quiet enough to really listen for them. And I would say as well, with regards to my intuition, it's not even necessarily just strangers. It could be existing friends. I've had instances where I've had friendships where I've felt a certain way consistently, but I have been in this introspective kind of mentality for so long, in that if I feel a certain way, I've always just looked within myself to say, okay, why is it that I feel this way? What is it in my belief system that triggers these feelings within me? What do I need to shift? Or what is this person trying to mirror to me about my behavior so that I can, um, pivot and change that behavior? Um, but I would say, and again, this is for me, a lifelong process, and I'll always have to be introspective to make sure that I'm not falling into old habits or falling into new bad habits. But it's at a point where, I've had friendships where I've sat and said, okay, I'm consistently feeling this anxiety, or I'm consistently feeling that not right, like something is off and not in alignment. And, me in the past, always being people pleasing, always wanting to make sure the other person is happy. I was like naturally inclined just not to rock the boat in any kind of relationship or friendship. And so it's, and even more so recently in the last several months, it's been a matter of, choosing myself and saying, okay, my intuition is literally telling me through my body that this is not for me. And I have to, you know, I've had to choose myself and release people out of my life, and through no fault of theirs. Um, it's just that at the end of the day, um, sometimes people, for me, are just here for seasons, if you will. And I've had to really let that sink in, because in my mind, I always thought that when you connected and made friendships or connections with people, it was well, as long as everything's great, why not keep this going? but that's not always the case, and people grow apart. People have different points of view, and so as a result, me trying to put a round square peg in a round hole, and trying to force friendships or relationships or whatever, just really wasn't in my best interest. And as hard as it was for me to let these things go, it was the best thing for me to do. And my intuition, kind of backed down after that, and there was like a sense of calm, like um my nervous system finally was able to relax, because it was just literally outputting all of this, hey, 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 this isn't good, this is not for you, we're trying to get your attention, please. And so yeah, this new connection, this new, I don't know if I want to call it a friendship with my intuition, is really it's exciting, because it's almost like I don't have to sit and necessarily worry that if I'm doing the right thing or not, because if I'm really connected with myself in that way, deep down, I'll know. If I'm really like present enough to listen, deep down, I'll know whether or not something is for me or not for me. It's definitely something that I've struggled with my whole life. As a typical Libra, we like analyze every possibility, and we're like, everyone seems valid. So it was difficult for me to figure out really, what was the best choice for me. I'd get into this like analysis paralysis and just be like, I am not going to do anything because I have no idea like what the best choice for me. So my choice is no choice at all. Um, so yeah, my intuition, um, I mean, maybe it's not talked about enough. I don't know. I don't listen to a ton of content, but I haven't really had a whole lot of conversations with people regarding, their intuition and following their intuition and really connecting with it. I would say another way for me to be in that state of neutrality is really grounding myself. I've found so many different ways to ground myself and get myself in that state of calm. Um, you know, Before in the past, I always used to think, oh, yoga and meditation, the only default ways for me to ground myself. But it's interesting, I've found other activities that would kind of put me in that meditative state that would ground me and really calm my mind, calm my nervous system, calm my body, get myself in a really nice, mellow state. Um, I would say something as quick as going outside and putting my bare feet on the ground and just allowing the energy to flow through. I've had many instances where I feel like I'm blocked, like the energy just is not flowing. And I'm holding my breath. I'm clenching my fists. I'm like tense, like my whole body is tense. And, me not being in a state of being present, like for an extended period of time, in the past, I wouldn't even notice it. I just thought that, this was the stress that was part of my life. When in reality, I could just take a moment and like go outside, literally put my feet on the bare feet on the ground, on the grass, on the sidewalk, whatever, connecting with the earth. And there's tons of research out there on grounding and what that is, and how that helps us. And so I find that within a minute or two, my breath is regulating. All of a sudden, like the energy within my body is just like clearing. It's clear, it's flowing, and like my muscles are kind of relaxing. And then my brain kind of settles down, and I'm like, ah, okay, where were we? And, it only takes a minute or two for me to be able to just, get back into that neutral state. Um, Also, I found for me, now that I'm getting back into music, for a long time, when I was a kid, I used to play the piano up until I was like, I don't know, maybe 20 years old. And I loved playing the piano and just being able to play for myself. It just brought me a lot of joy. And what I didn't realize is that it put me in this meditative state where I was just really calm and like the energy around me was calm, and that music for me was a way, or is a way, for me to meditate and to get to that state of neutrality. So I've actually started to learn the guitar. I've I used to, I took it up in high school when I took a music theory class, and I was a kid and I was always complaining about it because for me it was difficult to play. But I love hearing the guitar, and I was like, you know what, let me start playing. Let me start playing this. I love music. I love playing instruments. Let me just learn. And so I take a piano and guitar lessons every week, and I try to incorporate that. And as I'm playing, and of course, there's like, a learning curve in terms of like getting back into playing or learning a new instrument where it doesn't necessarily feel so calm, but like I feel myself starting to get into those brain waves of like whatever they're, I don't know, called theta waves or something. Um, get into that state where it's just very calming for me, and I'm just like, oh, okay, this is really great. So music for me has been, pivotal because it's a game changer for me in terms of like calming myself. And again, it's just for me. I just want to play for myself, to, for me and my own happiness. Um, Another thing that I love to do is cook. I love cooking. I'm very intentional about it. I'm kind of slow, but I love when the meals are colorful and flavorful and, just like the love that I put into a meal really shows when it's on a plate. It shows energetically like how much I've put into it. And while I'm doing it, I feel as though I'm in this kind of Zen mode where I'm just, even though I'm like cutting stuff up or it could be labor intensive for me, I feel so good doing it. I feel so good eating it. I feel so good serving it. And so cooking for me has been something that I've used almost to regulate. I've got 2 kids, they have to eat, so do I. So, so it comes up often, right? But I've discovered that there's so many different ways to get into this meditative state. And it's all about being in that state of creation, that state of creative state that kind of allows me to, zone out and just like feel. Um, because I think I just wasn't always feeling enough. It was very much a masculine, like get this stuff kind of done and override my feelings and override my senses. And it's all about completion of a task. And so now, I'm definitely leaning more into my feminine side, more into the state of flow where I can just be and enjoy and like um, be present and open to new opportunities or anything that is for me. Um, and so, yeah, it's an incredible place to be because, you know, I feel as though, sure, I have my goals and my dreams, but sometimes when I'm open, things come out of the blue that are completely unexpected, things that I wouldn't have even imagined. And I'm so grateful to be open in that way because why limit myself to what I think I would love and not what, all of the possibilities are that I'm not even thinking of. So, yeah, those especially have been helpful for me to get me into that, more Zen state, more meditative state, more emotionally level, stable state. So, yeah, I invite you to, let me know in the comments how your relationship is with your intuition. What things have come up where your intuition has been like, hey, time out. Let's not do this. Or what things have happened in your life where your intuition was like, this is a go, let's do this. And all of a sudden, it's been like this incredible opportunity that's presented itself in your lap. I'd love to hear more about your experiences. Uh, or suggestions and how you're able to reconnect with your intuition, please feel free to comment. Also, please like and subscribe if this is something that you feel has helped you or if you want to hear more content. As always, thank you so much for listening. And until next time.